What's up guys, and welcome to another YuGiOh Duel video. So I'm sure you just saw the short clip of me unlocking Playmaker, and also I read the comments as well. So Neo Info Mike actually requested to see how super polymerization or super poly will actually how it takes place in the Vrains world, and if the main character Playmaker or Yusaku has any special dialogue when activating the card. Well, Neo Info Mike, here's a short clip to actually show how it actually goes.
From my hand, I activate a quick play spell.
Go, Playmaker!
I fusion summon a monster.
And yeah, that's about it. So sadly, Super Poly isn't actually a dialogue that is actually gonna appear in the Vrains world, since so far none of the characters actually use Super Poly if I remember correctly. But do not worry, because we are just gonna resume on the entire exploration of Vrains world just like that. So first up, I would like to show you for the Playmaker on his level up rewards, as well as Go Onizuka, or aka the Gore. So for Playmaker himself, you'll start off by obtaining the first card called Widget Kid, and finally Dotscaper and your copy of Cyberus Wizard and also Backup Secretary. For these two cards, you'll obtain the prismatic versions when you unlock Vrains World initially in your gift box. So you'll have the prismatic version, and now you obtain the regular versions as well. And proceeding that, you'll obtain all three copies of the 4 cards, and finally your only copy of Power Code Talker thus far. We are only limited until level 30, but who knows, in the future we might actually get more in up to level 40 or 45 like the other characters from the other worlds. And for Gore Onizuka on the other hand, as you all know, he uses both the Goki and also the Dino Wrestler archetype, so it's not surprising that he has the Goki Jet Ogre as one of the few level up rewards, along with the Dino Wrestler Valinix. And aside from Valinix and also for Jet Ogre, you'll also have the chance to obtain your only copy of Goki Rematch from this, and that's about it until the end of this entire thing. So essentially 3 copies of Dino Wrestler Valinix, Jet Ogre, 1 copy of Goki Rematch, and also 3 copies of Belguard Rage. Which is kind of funny since we already have Belguard Rage in the previous few events, so those of you who missed out on the event, this is actually your chance to obtain it now by leveling up Go Onizuka. Or also known as the Gore for some reason. So allow me to introduce the deck that I built for the Gore himself. The skill I'm using is called the main event Goki. So at the beginning of the duel, these cards will be added to your deck: Suprex, Twist Cobra, Rescorpio, and the Great Ogre. And with this, you should know that Goki the Great Ogre is his ace card overall, and he also has extra skill called Dino Wrestle Evolution, where the field spell will be activated if you have no field spell on the field. So essentially, you can go for much more games if you actually have a much more stable Dino Wrestler deck, if I want to say something like that, I guess. But basically, here's the deck build I have thus far. So it is interesting to note that I do not have Suprex or any of the core cards, but it's fine as well, because these cards essentially are basically just letting me to bring out a link monster like Goki Jet Ogre, as well as Goki the Great Ogre. That's why I play Super Team Body Force to essentially build my field. Not to mention, all the Gokis have a floating effect while being sent to the graveyard from the field to search for another card that is Goki related. And because we are searching cards, we essentially will thin out our deck, and that's why we have Warrior returning alive. So if I want to use Goki Suplex multiple times, I can essentially activate this card, get Goki Suplex back into my hand, to essentially continue my play as before, as if I have multiple copies of Suplex overall. And aside from that, let's get into Playmaker's deck himself. So Playmaker himself is basically a Cyber's deck, and essentially it's gonna be full of Code Talkers overall. So this is basically the layout of my deck thus far. 2 copies of Cyber's Wizard, Backup Secretary, 1 copy of Micro Coder, 2 Widget Kits, 2 Link Streamers, and 3 copies of Link Infra Flyer. So anytime you have a Link monster on the field and it's pointing any direction of the monster zone, you can essentially special summon this card onto that zone. And with 2 copies of MST, Super Team Body Force, Wall of Disruption, as well as Recoded Alive, I can actually go into much more plays, especially when they target a Code Talker monster. I can banish it and bring out any other Code Talkers that I actually have, like N Code Talker, or D Code Talker, depending on what Code Talker I essentially summon into the extra monster zone. With a skill known as Storm Access, you will have access to all these 2 cards in the beginning of your duel. That's right, we have Firewall Dragon. Firewall Dragon, can you imagine that? I honestly did not think I would ever see this card in YuGiOh Duel Links, but here we are. And aside from that, if your life points are 1000 or below, you'll be given the chance of a random Code Talker monster being added to your extra deck. So this essentially gives you much of a randomizer, or a way allowing you to go into much more plays. Well, it's quite dependent really, and mostly depends on how you are able to proceed throughout the entire match and how is the pace going thus far. Also for the extra deck itself, I have the N Code Talker, D Code Talker, and the regular Code Talker, with Proxy Dragon, Alphase, Flame Administrator, Vector Scale Archfiend, and also Pentastag, which allows you to inflict piercing damage to whatever monster this card has linked to. So Proxy Dragon himself is not actually obtained from the main boss. You have to actually duel against Playmaker at the gate to obtain the drop rewards. Same goes to certain cards in Soulburner's deck, which I'm about to show you. So for my Salamangreat deck itself, I use the level up rewards of Salamangreat Gazelle and also Salamangreat Jaguar, while using 2 Falcos, 2 Fowls, 2 Mears, 1 Coyote, and 2 Fennec. On the other hand, I use 2 MSTs, 2 Salamangreat Claws, 2 Karma Cuts, and also 2 Super Team Body Force to essentially increase my chances of going into much more Link summoning during that turn. I have yet to obtain Heat Leo, but I have 3 copies of Sunlight Wolf and 2 copies of Salamangreat Balings. But Balings itself is an okay card for defense wise, but it's actually best used as a searcher for your Salamangreat Sanctuary, which is also a drop reward you got the duel against Soulburner to obtain. So that's actually one of the few sad things about it. I have one half of the combo, while the other half has yet to be obtained. So that's basically it for the deck profile thus far for all the Vrains characters I've unlocked, as well as a rundown on their level up rewards and also their deck profiles itself. So without further ado, let's get into a duel to allow me to show you some of the combos I managed to use for my Code Talker deck.
Are you
sure you can win this play?
very well? I duel! Here I go. Draconet! Draconet activates his Digitron! Here I go. It's my turn. I draw.
Alright, so we'll just normal summon our Widget Kit onto the field.
Widget Kit's effect activates.
And bring out Backup Secretary and essentially go into the Link monster known as Pentastag. Or should I go for something else? I think Code Talker is a safe bet, so let's get rid of these two monsters into the graveyard
I create
and
my
link with
circuit.
Dead by Tron.
Link summon. Here's Link 2.
And now we'll just set
I'm
these
setting
three
a
cards
card.
face down
I set a card.
and proceed with the
I'm
duel.
setting a card. Time for Code Talker. Attack. I end my.
You know they're gonna come at you.
I draw. I do. Come out. I summon a monster. I link summon a monster. Here comes. Create the ultimate circuit. I set my appear. I activate my monster's effect. I know what to do. I link summon a monster. I activate my quick play spell. Link bound. Battle.
Wait, what? Okay.
Alright.
Alright. Wall disruption in your face.
Over the card that I set. I activate
Thank
a
you
fight
very
isn't
much.
over yet.
And let's get rid of that back row real quick.
Here's the card I set. My turn. I draw.
Okay, perfect. Backup secretary onto the field reporting for duty. And now we'll just link summon into our Decode Talker.
I create my circuit. Link appear.
And now we'll just proceed because this is basically an OTK already. Attack, activate Recoded Alive, banish our Decode Talker, and bring out our Encode Talker onto the field.
Go.
And attack directly just like that.
Direct attack.
You good, Playmaker?
One wrong step.
So yeah, that's basically how I play my Code Talker deck overall. That's nice level up reward right there. And as you saw at the gate, my gate keys are pretty much exhausted as you can see right there. I basically run out of gate keys overall, and all you need to do is essentially just spam against the regular duelist NPCs on the field to essentially obtain as much of the keys that I need as well. So that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys find an insight on how I actually built my deck surrounding the Link era. Although there isn't actually much Link monsters to go on right now, it's still the second day of Link Vrains into Duel Links, but I do hope that in the future it might get much more interesting. Anyways, that's it for now. Goodbye and have a great day ahead of you, and I hope you guys unlock Playmaker, the Gore, aka Go Onizuka, as well as obtain the cards that you need for this entire event and for the new world that we have now currently exploring. So until the next video, stay safe, goodbye, and keep dueling.